everyone, Dev here once again, and we are still building our project, which is a Django dictionary website. Okay, so let's take a look at where we ended in the last episode. Okay, so in the last episode we finished with the templating, so I'm going to start the server and we take a look of where we ended in the last episode. So you can see my virtual environment is activated, so python manage.py run server. Oh, sorry. So it still can't detect our .env file, so let me source in the .env file. So .env. Okay, so let's open it in a browser. Okay, so in the last episode we ended with the templating where we're able to finish up with this nice UI. So at the moment everything here is just static, some static dummy work that has been inserted in. So we want to be able to search in some word, a particular word like an example, then we hit a search, then we get the definitions over here, and we want to be able to, when the page loads on the first, we're supposed to see a word of the day that will be there for 24 hours, and the next 24 hours change the word here and the definition here. So in this episode we are going to implement the search functionality. Okay, so I've told you in the previous episode that we'll be using an API from Rapid API. They are very good. They have thousands of APIs. Some are public, some are freemium, and some are totally free. So we'll be using their Word API, a very nice API. The documentation is great and very simple to use. Okay, so first we'll take a look at some endpoints of the API. You can see we have word here, we have search, we have synonym definition, and a whole lot rhymes. So with a particular implementation that you want, then you choose. So in this series you are going to use the word endpoint. In the next episode we will use the random endpoint. So let's get into it. So you can see they have given us a code snippet over here. Let's navigate to the language that we are using, which is Python, and we want to use the request library. Okay, so when you come here, you see they have given us a code snippet of how we should make our request to get a response from the API. So we are going to copy everything from here. We are going to use this in the views. So now let's move into our text editor. Let me close this one here to make space. So inside the dictionary app, previously I told you that the dictionary app is going to hold every logic about the dictionary searching and the word searching and other stuff, and the word of the day. So let's go into the dictionary app, then move into the views.py. Okay, nice. I created this dummy view in the last episode so that we'll be able to render and see the changes that we were making on the templates. So we are going to clear this one off. Okay, nice one. So we copied the code snippet from the API provider. So let's push this one inside. Let's tap it inside. Okay, let's bring this import outside. Okay, nice. We are almost there. Okay. Okay. So now we have now you have a process of the steps needed to make a request to the API to get a response. So we don't want to make a request with any word, but we want a particular word that will be sent from the front end. That will be sent from the front end here. That will be sent from here. Then we receive it, then we run the request, then we send a response back to the front end for it to be displayed. Okay, so for us to receive the word from the word the user wants to search from the front end, we have to check whether the request is a post or a get. So if request dot method equals to a post, equals to a post, capital letters, then we want to run this. Okay, so we want to run this request when the request is a post, or we want to make a request to the API when the request from the front end is a post, not a get request. Okay, so to get the word that the user wants to search from the front end, let's pass it into a variable. So it's going to be post request, no request dot post dot get. Okay, so let me open up the template and show you one quick stuff. So in the form here, in the form that will be used to receive the input from the user, it's supposed to have a class, or no, it's supposed to have a name which will be used to identify it at the back end. So let's call the name, let's give it a name tag called user word. Okay, now let's get the input from that. So word, user word. Let's comment out this one for the meantime. So in everything we want to render a template, so return a render of template of the request. Template, sorry, dictionary app, and the name of the template is index.html. Okay, so when we receive a post, we want to print out the user word so that we will verify it before we make any request to the API first. So let's go into that. Okay, so let's restart it. Oh, we lost connection to the server. Okay, it says request, there's no model known as request. Okay, So let's comment it out for the meantime, because you have not yet started using it. Because you are using a virtual environment and request is an external library, we have to install it. So let's move on. The server is now working now. Okay, let's refresh. Nice. So let's say the user wants to search for a word like an example. Okay, then now let's post. Okay, now we are met with another error, which is the Csrf verification failed. Okay, so in Django, any form that is going to post to the backend is supposed to have a Csrf token in it. So to add a Csrf token to your form, let's just add the Csrf token tag. Okay, this solves it. Let's restart again. Okay, now we want to search for example. Then let's search. Okay. You see, we search for example. Now example is here. So now the backend is receiving the word that the user wants to search for. Okay, now let's move into our views.py again. Okay, so now we are receiving the word from the front end, then store it inside the user word variable. Okay, now let's uncomment this one. We are going to use the request library in this project, so let's pip install request right now. Let me end the server. Okay. Pip install request capital plural. Okay, so request has been successfully been installed on inside our virtual environment. So now let's start our server once again. Let's get it on. Okay, nice. So now let's save this. Okay, so if you take a look at the URL that we copied from take a look at the URL inside the code snippet we copied from the API provider. You can see here there's some string interpolation here. So we are not going to use this format. We are going to use the f-string method. So the f-string method of string interpolation. So put f there, then we receive our word here. So it's going to be user word. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so you want to basically what is that it's going to send a request to this URL with this URL in addition with this headers. The headers contain our API key, which is here. I'm going to cover it for security reasons, and the API host, which is Rapid API. So let's take a look at how the response from the API is going to look like. Okay, let's see our server is running. Okay, our server is very healthy, so let's get into it. Let's say I want to search for a word like an example. Okay, now let's search. Let's take a look at this our terminal. You see, now we get a response from the server, but it is in test. It's going to be difficult for us to to work a test. So let's pass it. Let's pass the response. Let's pass the response into JSON. That way we can, it will be given to us in a dictionary, so that we can get the attribute, the particular attribute you want, or the particular key that we want. So let's search for store example. Okay, so this response is a dictionary, a native Python dictionary, instead of the first one that was just a string. This one is just a normal string. So let's get into it. Nice. So let's go back to the API provider once again. So when you take a look at the example that was given to us here, example of the request, the response that will be provided by the API when the particular word or the particular transaction is successful. It's going to have the word that was searched for here, as you can see here, and the results. This part of the response is the most important part to us, because that's where we are going to get the definition from. We are going to get the examples also from. Okay, so you can see it's nested inside a dictionary. So we're converting this JSON into a dictionary. So we can index key, then index result. When we index result, it is going to be a list of dictionaries. Let me close this one out. A list of dictionaries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6 dictionaries in this case. So we can index word, that is going to give us the word that was searched. We can index result, that is a list of the results, which contains the definition and the example. And we have the syllables too. The syllables contains other stuff. We won't use the syllable in this project. We won't use the syllables in this project. But we are going to need the pronunciation. Okay, so that one too is a dictionary, a Python dictionary. So we can index the key, or then we get the pronunciation of the word. So let's get into it inside our forms, in our view.py. Okay, all right. So instead of printing this response from the API, we are going to store it as a result inside a variable called result. Okay, so as I said, result is going to have, it's going to be a dictionary, so we can index it. So we want to get the word that was searched for by the user, so it's going to be user. Let's name it search word. That one is going to be result dot word. So let's take a look at, you see it's word, so we can index the keyword. Index the keyword. Okay, nice. Then we want the result. Word definitions. Okay, so it's also inside the JSON that was returned from the response. Then that one is called result, or it's called results, plural, results. Okay, then we want the pronunciation. Pronunciation is going to be called results, and pronunciation. Pronunciations, or it's pronunciation singular. Okay, so now let's print them out. Print word, search word. Let's put a blank space between them. Print word definition. Let's put a blank space and print pronunciation. Okay, now let's save it. Okay, let's connect to the local server again. This time I'm going to search for another word. I'm going to search for money. Okay, so let's search. Okay, so we just got an error. Pronunciation. It said it has no nothing like okay, so we spelled it wrong. It's pronunciation. So it's very important to use the right spelling. So it has no U here. Pronunciation. Okay. Let's start this. Let's go to the page again. You're searching for money. Okay, this time around it worked. So let's have a look at the response. Okay, so you can see we have the word that was searched for, which is money. We have the definitions of money here, and we have the the pronunciation of money here. Okay, so what we want to do is now we want to send these things here to the front end for it to be able to display it. But first you want to clean up this money here, the definition of money. You don't want to send everything that is inside the definition of money to the front end. You just want to send the definition and the example. The definition and the example. Okay, so let's do that. The definition. So as you saw, it's a list of dictionaries. It's a list of dictionaries. One first definition and second definition second definition, and a third definition. Okay, so a list of dictionaries. So okay, now we have this response from the API that we want to pass to the front end for it to serve it to the user. We have the word that was searched, the definitions with the examples, and the pronunciation of the word. Okay, so for us to pass it to the front end, we have to pass it through a context dictionary. So instead of printing this out, you are going to delete this and pass it through a context dictionary. A context dictionary. Going to have search word. Is equal to a search word. Going to results. Going to be the word definitions, pronunciation, pronunciations. So key value pairs. Okay, so now we are passing this inside the context here. We have now formed the context dictionary which we want to pass to the front end. So we pass it through the render method context. Okay, context equal to context. Okay, so we are in our view, which is a function based view. We are rendering this template with this context dictionary, but the context dictionary is only created when the request is a request dot which is only when the request is a post request. So for us not to get any error, let's just create a dummy context dictionary so that the get request also get a context dictionary of its own. So for us to be able to use the content of the context dictionary inside the HTML or the template, we have to reference it. So we are going to use template tags. So the name of the variable was search word. Yes, search word. So I want the user to know that this is the pronunciation, so I'm going to use colon. So pronunciation. Yes, pronunciation. Okay, so let's have a look at how it's going to look like. Let's search for anomaly. Let's search for it. Okay, let's see whether it came true, but it seems we didn't render our pronunciation well. So let's have a look at it. Let's get to the variable name. It's pronunciation over here, pronunciations. So it has to be the same thing for it to show up. Continue. Okay, we are receiving our pronunciation, which is this, but it is coming from a dictionary, so we have to get the pronunciation itself, not the dictionary. So to get that, let's index the key or dot or. Okay, nice. Now let's refresh once again. Okay, so we now have the word here, then we have the corresponding pronunciation for the word. So let's take a look at the response from the API for the definition. A sample of the response is here. So this is the definition. It's inside a list. So it's a list of dictionaries. It has a definition, and it has the example. The example are over here. These are the examples for the particular definition. So to be able to use it, we have to loop over the response from the API. So for we are going to use the for template tag for definition in results. Let me quickly check whether it's result or results plural in results. Okay, so now we are running a for loop here. So what do we want to do? We want, for every definition, we want to create a whole definition block for it. So we end our for loop over here. Okay, so now we have hold of a particular definition. So when you get hold of a particular definition, you want to show the definition itself. So let's replace it with this Lorem ipsum placeholder. Okay, so when you do it this way, we are going to get a dictionary, but inside the dictionary there is a particular key of the name definition. That is what we want. That is the main definition, which is this one. You see, it has the definition over here. That is what we want to render. So let's index that key. Key dot definition. Okay, then you want to show its examples. The examples you can see is also in a for loop. Let me show you that quickly so that we get on that. This is the example. Okay, you can see it's also in a list of examples. You can see. So for us to be able to use it, we have to loop over the examples. Okay, so let's write a quick for loop over here. For definition, for example, in definition dot examples. I hope you get what I'm trying to do. This definition is the dictionary that we are looping over, and we have indexed it for the examples. So this statement here would give out a list, and you want to loop over the list, each individual list. You want to loop over it with this. Okay, so let's bring this for here below this. Okay, so where do you want to display this example that you have gotten hold from the examples list? It is here. Okay, so let's render it. Example, beautiful, nice. So now let's take a look at how it's going to be like. Let's see example. Let's search for example itself. Search. Okay, you see we have the word here, its pronunciation, the definition of the word, a representative form or pattern, whatever, and you have the example over here. Okay, then we come down, we have a definition here. Because we don't have any example, that's why there's no example over here. We are going to deal with that. And we come to the next definition, an occurrence of something. And we have the example here, but there is always a famous example of Smith. So this is the example. Then we come down, we have the definition, and we see for this definition you have two examples. This is the first one and this is the second example. Beautiful. Nice. Okay, so all are coming true for us. So let's move on to the synonym part. This section, this part, we want to remove out this dummy synonyms for the meantime and put in dynamic ones. So this is where the synonyms are rendered. Let's take a look at the response from the API once again. So if you take a look at the response from the API, you'll notice that each definition comes with a synonym if it has. Each definition comes with a synonym if it has. It is located in the synonym block. Synonym. Wonderful. Let's print a new definition, so that a new result, so that we'll be able to use that one instead. Let's print. Since many have no synonym, so let's print word definition. Okay, so now let's run the command with example. Let's run it with example. Okay, let's take a look at the response from the API. Okay, so you can see here that we have a synonym response, a synonym key with the synonyms inside. It's also contained in a list. Okay, so let's check here. The first definition also has a synonym, contain a list of other synonyms. So for us to be able to render it in our template, let's move back. So as we saw, it was a list. So for us to be able to get hold of each individual element inside the list, you have to run a for loop on the list. So for tag again, for synonym in definition, definition dot synonyms. You are going to dynamically insert this, or dynamically create it. So paste over here, and let's take out these ones. these placeholders out. We are going to show the synonym word here. Synonym. Okay, before we go ahead, let's take out this print statement. We just use it to get hold of a particular word. So now let's go inside the browser. Let's search for example again. Search. Okay, beautiful. So now you can see we have the definition coming through. You have the example over here, and we have the synonym of for the particular definition. Same for this one here. Instead of having dummy synonyms, now you have actual synonyms. Okay, nice one. Okay, beautiful. It's working nice. Okay, so we are almost done with the functionalities for this one. We are almost done with this episode. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment under the comment section. It's very crucial to me, so please try and do that for me. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share on your social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you can share it so that others will come and enjoy what you are also enjoying. Okay, so let's move back into our views. Okay, so you see, in the first episode, I told you that it's very dangerous for us to keep our secrets or credentials inside our project. By mistake, if you commit it to GitHub, a wicked person or a bad person can get hold of that details and use it to do bad stuff. Okay, so we are going to refactor some stuff out. We are going to take the API key and send it into the .env file, then we source it. Okay, so we are going to export API key. Okay, no space in between. API key equals to, then the API key, no space in between. Alright, so now let's save it. Now for our Python project to be able to get hold of the API keys, you have to import the OS module. Import OS, then use that OS dot get env. No, get env. Okay, so get API key. All right. Okay, first refactoring. So you see our home view is becoming quite a lot. It's doing a lot of stuff. It is communicating to the API, then it is also sending requests or response to the front end. That is a lot. So we are going to break down our code into smaller chunks. So I'm going to create a file called helpers.py that is going to help with the functionality of contacting the API for the result or for the response. So let's create a file called helpers.py or helpers. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a function that is going to contact the API with a particular word, then it will return the response. So first you have to import request. Okay, def, the name of the function is going to be search word. It's supposed to be small. Search word is going to take a word, then it's going to contact our API. So what it's basically going to do is all this section. So let's cut this one out, send it here, let's paste it here, tap this one back. All right, so okay, so now we have to use this word inside our URL. So I'm going to change this URL to word for it to use our word parameter. Okay, all right, nice. Then we need our API key, so we have to get our one from OS. So import OS. Okay, then we have to return something, so you return response. Return response. Okay, so this guy here, this function here, is what is going to make contact to the API with the word that we want to search for and return to us the response from the API. Okay, so let's save it and let's move back to our API. Let's import the function that we just created. So from .helpers import search word. Okay, so this variable here is expecting a JSON response from the API, which does not exist here. So now this function here, which is the search word, is what is contacting the API with the word that the user wants to search for and returning the response. So let's replace it with search word. And which word do we want to use? We want to search for the user's word. Okay, nice. Okay, oh sorry, let's tidy up a little. Okay, nice. So you see, we have been able to send module our code a little bit. So now this is being returned from. Okay, nice. All right. So now so okay, now you can see that we have been able to modularize our code a little bit. We have been able to send the part that makes the contact to the API into an helpers.py file, which we can also use in other views. So let's do some cleaning up a bit. So instead of calling this inside a variable before sending it off, why not do it directly? So why not this way? Not this way, instead send it directly. Okay, why not this way instead? That way you see our code has become very less and very clean. Okay, let's check whether it is functioning as it used to be. Let's search for anomaly. Okay, so we have an error. It says the response object is not subscriptable. Response object is not subscriptable. Line 18. Okay, so we have another error again. It says the response object is still not subscriptable. So let's have a look at our helpers.py file. Okay, so instead of sending the JSON, we sent the response itself. So .json. Okay. Okay, so let's go back into our browser. Let's refresh and see if it's going to work. Okay, so this time around it worked. Okay, so we have anomaly, everything. So let's search for another word. Let's search for money, to be sure that it is working. Okay, so you can see it's working now. It's working now. Beautiful. Okay, so our refactoring worked. It's worked well. Let me take this one out. Okay, so let's say if the user search for a word that does not exist, let's try out and see. Let's try that one out and see whether what is going to happen to our. You see, our server just broke because it searched for a word that does not exist. So let's fix that. Let's fix that issue ASAP. So to fix that, when we send a request that does not as a request for a word that does not exist, we get a success statement that says that failed. So let me print out that response for us to see. So let's print the result. Let's go back into our browser. Let's refresh again. Let's try it again. Okay, so let's take a look inside our terminal for the response. Okay, so you can see we have a response dictionary over here, but it does not contain anything. So it gave us what? A success, which is false. And what was the message? Word was not found, because it's not a proper word. So let's use that inside our view. So to use that, we are going to use a try block statement. So you are going to do try. We are going to try this. If you get an exception, but the exception that we are looking out for is a key error, then the content that you want to send context that we want to send is want to send a key with error. So that one is going to be result. What the error was? Message. As you can see, let's take a look at it once again. Message, and it tells us what the error was. Not found. Not found. So we want to add the success. Let's say failure, for us to be able to use it at the front end. You will understand it when you get there, so don't worry. So true, failure true. We're going to use a boolean true. Okay, so we are sending this context to the front end. If we get a key error, that means that the word that was searched for does not exist, or it's not a proper word. So let's go back to the front, the templates once again, and where the word is, the search word is. This is what contains all the search word. No, this part. This is where all the search word is. Or this part. This is where all the search word and its details are contained at. Okay, so we are going to run a conditional here. So in Django templates, you can run a conditional. So let's try an if condition here. If failure, just like how what we used inside the view, just like how you used the variable that was used inside the view. We are going to reference it here. If failure, then we want to render an h2 tag, h2. Okay, it should be a closing one. Okay, so we want to put the h2 in the middle. So let's use bootstrap style and quickly text dash center. Okay, then we want to render what the error message here. Error. Okay, so if there is no error or if there is no failure, then we want to do what? We want to do this instead. To do this instead. Okay. Okay, so I think that's where let's move it up a little. It's supposed to be here instead. Okay, let's move it up here. Okay, so now let's move back. And let's try it out. Let's search any random word. So you see, this time around our server did not break, but it returned word not found. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Like the video, hit the subscribe button. Let's check the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so hit the subscribe button, share the videos, like it, and comment below. So we are done with this episode. So let's close it up with some success word search. Let's search for anomaly, and beautiful. You see, the word search was successful, so everything came out true very soon. Okay, don't forget to watch the next episode. In the next episode, we are going to deal with the word of the day session, this side, and we are going to take it out so that when a user search for a word, it won't be conflicting with the word of the day. So see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video to us as well. Thank you. Bye.